for thankful. And some of them are sorry they are free now. Some of them now would rather be slaves.
Which would you rather be, Uncle Phil?
Me? Which I'd rather be? You know what I'd rather do? If I thought that I'd ever be a slave again, I'd take a gun and just end it all right away.
Watch as we pray. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Ashe, Ashe. In fact, I tend to the garden of the mind and the pool of the soul daily, praying ceaselessly with boldness, casting my cares on the provider of all things. The protection I have is truth based in wisdom, mission being to eradicate ignorance. With persistent due diligence, I step on devils. As Holy Breath speaks the straight path to eternal life, whom shall I fear? This is much more than rhetorical acrobatics set to rhythm. Our work is an in-depth analysis into the houses built where the soul resides with precision. As J. Dave says, balance is anchored in the heart of the mind, beyond the point where ego and reason either coincide or collide. Allied with the Most High and the people, plight of the youth be why my lyrics so lethal. Weapon is pen, words going into the most driest soil as I wait for Oya to reign, nurturing and purifying. No more prisons, pistol popping, no more pain. Heaven on earth for real, kind of place where we all got a deal. New black people starting over. No more lying, signifying carnal clever to the utmost. Jesus saves those that bear their crosses. Same for doctors, toilet washers, cops, and lawyers. Justice is everybody's business. This is what we must mean when we say the word organizing post-2010 census. Know thyself and learn of the mysteries within so that your inner palace gleams immaculate. Ashe. Visions of living large with less, sitting on some acres, growing spelt, earning wealth, facing east. Mama Africa bless up, getting grown, no more dress up. Coming home like Dennis Brown, whole new swagger, meaning universal, conscious sound. So as I roam far from home, I memorize this poem. Never money, not the ladies, nor the deals or the Mercedes. Lest I fall for death in Hades, God and God alone. Keep us safe from quiet danger. God and God alone. 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 Watch as we pray. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Ashe, Ashe. In fact, I tend to the garden of the mind and the pool of the soul daily. Watch as we pray. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Ashe, Ashe. In fact, I tend to the garden of the mind and the pool of the soul daily, praying ceaselessly with boldness, casting my cares on the provider of all things. The protection I have is truth, based in wisdom, mission being to eradicate ignorance. With persistent due diligence, I step on devils. As Holy Breath speaks the straight path to eternal life, whom shall I fear? This is much more than rhetorical acrobatics set to rhythm. Our work is an in-depth analysis into the houses built where the soul resides with precision. As J. Dave says, balance is...
We're talking about not falling into the teacher trap, not falling into the website trap. So today, what teachers can you learn from? We just told you that the Akawu tells you that we're all a great teacher at the same time. So who are you going to learn from? You're going to learn from brothers like Sa Neter. You're going to learn the positives and negatives from brothers like Sa Neter. You're going to learn the positives and negatives of people like Brother Polite. The positives and negatives of people like Sa Rasul Seti. You're going to learn from Maurice Muhammad, Taalik Ibn'rad. You're going to learn from Netterket. You're going to learn, you definitely going to learn from King Noble. You definitely going to learn a little something something from Brother Daku. But we ain't the only teachers in the world. There are other people in your lives right now that are teaching you things that you need to know. Now, do you follow your teacher every single place and everywhere? Not necessarily. But if you got a good teacher, your teacher is going to teach you how to think, not what to think. And if you learn how to think, then you can be critical of all information. You can question anything. Your teachers ain't going to get mad. Huh? Your teacher, if he's truly your teacher, give me the question. Bring them on. If I can't answer the question, then I'm going to meditate on it, reflect on it, and try to get back with you with the answer. Get back to you with the answer. But I'm also going to encourage you to think. It's important for you to think. You're not just my student, you're also my teacher. I'm not your teacher, I'm also your student. Don't fall into the teacher trap. This has been Daku Akabo Wa'akatu. Akabo Wa'akatu. This is Daku. And I just want to comment on the civil rights activist and congressman, John Lewis, who got arrested today. Is his name John Lewis? I don't know these Negroes' names. Congressman Lewis. Okay, you can look up his name later. He was arrested today for protesting the immigration bill. Okay, I wish these words were bigger. It says 8 Democratic lawmakers were arrested Tuesday while advocating for comprehensive immigration reform in front of the U.S. Capitol. I think that these civil rights leaders have more heart than the Black Power community. Like, how many black people are getting arrested for taking a stand for black rights? How many people are arrested for standing in front of the Capitol, just standing? We can't even stand. I'm not even saying we should go blow nobody's head off unless that's what you think you should do. I'm not telling you what to do. You know, if you think you should do that, then, hey, do what you think you should do. But just standing in front of the Capitol, saying, nah, this is messed up, y'all. Some laws got to be changed in this country. If a black man or woman can't walk down the street without getting shot, can't drive without getting shot, can't ask for help without getting shot and killed. You say, well, we got to take responsibility for our own actions. Trayvon should have handled that situation differently. The football player that got killed while seeking aid, he shouldn't have been so excited. He should have been calm. So you can't be excited. You can't cry. You can't be angry. Anything that you do is grounds for them to kill you. Anyway, I digress. These civil rights activists who we criticize in the Black Power community, in the Black conscious community, we criticize them. We talk about them all the time. But they're at least willing to go to jail for what they believe in. What are you willing to do for what you believe in? Just change your fucking diet. Just eat more carrots and celery sticks. If we do that, we'll be all right. If we just accept Islam or Christianity or Judaism, we'll be all right. That's about all you're willing to do. Or read some damn books or listen to a few lectures and debates. That's all we're willing to do for what we believe in. But these watered down Negroes that we criticize all the time, they're willing to go to jail for what they believe in. It says they went to jail. Why did they go to jail? Let's read this. Authorities arrested the lawmakers for crowding and disrupting the streets around the Capitol. Police arrested almost 200 people during the protest. Y'all just had the Million Youth March, the 15th anniversary of the Million Youth March. I don't know if anyone got arrested, did they? It was a nice little peaceful demonstration on how, whatever the hell it was about. I didn't even look at that shit. The only one I really looked at was Sarah Sutanseti's part. Okay, because that was the strongest part of from what I saw, the strongest presentation. I didn't see much of it. Okay, but that's the one that stood out in my mind, was just Sarah Sutanseti's little part. Okay, but I just wanted to let y'all know that, you know, these civil rights leaders, they got more heart than we do, it seems. And I know it's just some surface stuff. I know we do a lot under the surface. So don't call me and say, well, you don't understand, Daku. We got schools. We're homeschooling. We are wearing our hair natural. We're doing this and that. And all those are forms of protest. And I get that. But these folks are willing to go the extra step for what they believe in. This has been Daku Akabo Waakatu.
Things that make you go, you know, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you say,
this may seem terrible, but my God, I didn't know you were black.
Con los terroristas.
And do the Harlem Shake.
Into I hate women, and they want to find every woman that they can find and just cuss them out and call them every B in the world. And that's not the purpose of what I'm doing, and that's not the purpose of my movement. The purpose of my movement is to get black men and black women together, not to get them to just be bickering and constantly argue. So
why does it sound like you bicker and constantly argue? Explain that.
The reason it sounds like I'm bickering and constantly arguing, because I'm bickering and constantly arguing, but I'm doing it for your benefit. No, seriously, what I'm doing is trying to bring forth a message and to get a conversation going. But the conversation is to be had by the other people. I'm like the judge in the courtroom.
My brother Angel Snub 7 at the Reality Temple. And to give props to him, because I listened to all of Angel Snub 7's videos. I think that he comes from a different angle. And there's a powerful message in a lot of the videos that he put out, and I try to catch all of them. I look at him as a free thinker and a person that's willing to challenge those of which he don't agree with or which he may think differently from, and I really respect him for that. He's challenged KNBS, and he has also challenged the Black Supremacy movement as well. And I have nothing against that, because that which cannot be challenged cannot stand and will not stand and will not survive the test of time. How many challenges we can withstand will determine how long we will be able to stand.
In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. Of course, I am the gatekeeper or the host of this particular program, known here on the internet. I guess that means that I am around the world. However you deem this media, I am known here as the, say it with me now, the mighty, Angel Snupnup 7. I am your brother, and hopefully your friend, Taalik Ibn'rad. I would like to dedicate this particular talk to one of my great influences. In fact, he is a great teacher, and that is our brother, Pastor Ray Hagins, of which I have had the most honor and fortune to converse with him in person and in private. And it was listening to Brother Pastor Hagin that really caused what we call the Reality's Temple on Earth. How is this possible that you can come from a Muslim background, you can listen to a Kemetic teacher, you were born in the Christian church, but yet and still out of all of this spirituality, out of all this coming from those who believe in God, but your ultimate conclusion is a disbelief in the Most High. How is that possible? Well, I would like to say to Pastor Hagin, you and your teaching brought me to this conclusion because it caused me to rethink everything, including what you were saying, caused me to rethink, re-examine everything that I was taught. And what Pastor Hagin said that made me really begin this process of re-examination of these teachings that we are being taught is that Pastor Hagin said that the historical Jesus, or the person that we know of as Jesus, never existed. When I heard Pastor Hagin say that not only Jesus, but Moses is a fictional person. Muhammad may even be a fictional person. Abraham and Noah and all these prophets, all these religious figures, they are not real. They are fictional. In fact, they are nothing but images that have been plagiarized from ancient Egyptian or Kemetic text. When I heard that, it caused a light bulb to appear over my head. You know, you ever see those cartoons and a cartoon character has a thought and a light bulb appears? The light bulb is actually a symbol of the sun, and all these religions that we worship and we are loyal to, and they are all sun connected, sun worshipers. That's what you really are. But it really made me begin to think about all of these things. So if what I have been taught is plagiarism, and it comes from ancient Egyptian texts, then this makes me raise the question. It may be true that these things were stolen. They are plagiarism from Kemetic text. But at the same time, how do we know that the ancient Egyptians, those of Kemet, how do we know that what was stolen from them was correct? How do we know that it was not in error? Have you ever sat in school, or do you know of someone who sat in school who decided to cheat? And then they cheat from a person that was wrong. So what they stole, they are trying to get over by stealing, by plagiarism, but what they stole was the wrong answers from somebody who didn't have it right. So the question that is raised, we put Egypt and Kemet on a high pedestal, and we put all these other people, all these other forms of black conscious knowledge on these high pedestals. But how do we know that there was not error? So if you steal from somebody who was incorrect, what kind of answer are you going to get? That means your plagiarism, that means the answer that you stole is incorrect. So what type of civilization, what type of lifestyle did the Europeans, the Caucasian people that stole from Kemet, that stole from Egypt, that stole from all these different places, what is the ultimate result from their plagiarism, from their theft? What happened to those who practice these concepts? Many of these no longer exist. What we know of as ancient Egypt no longer exists. With all their knowledge, with all their understanding, with all the greatness that you claim that was of Kemet, they no longer exist. What happened to Rome that conquered Egypt, that plagiarized from Kemet? They no longer exist. Where are all these people with all this knowledge, great knowledge and understanding and spirituality and all these things? What happened to them? They no longer exist. What is happening to Western civilization that plagiarized Kemet, plagiarized from ancient African spirituality? What is happening to the Europeans right now as we speak? Their nation is falling. So although we want to foam at the mouth and we want to become loyal to, but the ultimate result, it seems, from everybody that gets a hold of this so-called knowledge, whether they steal it or whether they claim it as their own, it seems something is wrong, and the ultimate result is their extinction, their demise, their downfall. So we are living during a period of time, it seems as though the great Western civilization, it looks as though it is now falling. It is suffering. It is going through great disrepair, confusion, insanity. And pretty soon, the next step would be just like those that came before America and Western civilization: ultimate destruction, extinction. So why are you foaming at the mouth? Why do you want to grab and latch on to something that has a history, thousands of years of history of great success, but when it's all said and done, they fall. They go into extinction. That was the result and happened to those who were plagiarized. And for the plagiarists, that is what is happening as we speak right now today. And although the prophets in religious teachings may be fictional, they may not have exist. These books called Bible, these books called Quran, they are teaching us and giving us warning if we heed the call. But we fail to heed the call because we have fallen in love and really don't understand what has happened to us, because we grab onto this knowledge and this wisdom in the belief that it is a life giver. But even according to its own history, and y'all claim to be historians, the only thing that we see is mayhem, chaos, destruction, violence, war, and ultimately extinction and death. So how are you so proud of what you've come up with? You've plagiarized and stolen from something that had some type of error. Something was wrong. Even if not in the context of what was taught, but in the content of the character of those who wield power. Do you understand? It may not be that what was stolen was in error, but the mentality is just like, to use this as a simple example, guns don't kill people. People who put guns in their hands kill people. A gun cannot kill anyone. A gun is controlled by a certain mentality. So there may not be nothing wrong with the knowledge, but there may be something wrong with the understanding. There may be something wrong with the mentality of those who put the knowledge in their hands or in their minds, and how you implement. Because everybody that put a gun in their hands are not good shooters. There are those of you who are not trained and you cannot shoot a gun properly. Then there are expert marksmen. Clearly, throughout time, those who obtain this great knowledge, understanding, and wield great power, they don't have understanding and are incompetent and undeserving of the power and the wisdom. So you overload yourself. And when you overload a circuit, the power goes out. So you had Kemet, the power went out. And you had Rome, the power went out. Now you're looking at Western civilization and America, the power is going out because they have power, but they don't know how to understand. They don't understand that power, and they are incompetent. They don't know how to properly use power. The Quran is a training manual how to handle the power. The Bible is a training manual telling us how to handle power. It makes no difference whether the characters, the persons in these books are fictional, historical, or whatever. It is a manual, if understood, tell us how to handle power. But if you gave this book to a 2-year-old, they don't understand. If you gave this book to a baby that's still drinking milk, it would mean nothing. So you're looking at a humanity, regardless to your race, that is infantile in the mind. That is why in Quran and Bible you are considered children of God. But somebody has allowed you to be in the house by yourself without a babysitter, and you are not properly trained and you are not mature enough to handle the power. You're not mature enough to handle the knowledge. Because to handle the knowledge is in your books. It is in your Bible. It is in your Quran. It is in your spirituality. But you are too infantile. You are too childish. You don't understand the power that you've been given. Just like giving a child an AK-47. That child, that baby, don't understand the power behind the gun. You don't understand the power behind the gun. You see it. And you can hold it. You can touch it. But you don't know how to properly fire it. You don't know how to properly shoot it because you have not been trained. And the reason why the child cannot do that is because the child lacks a parent. Which brings us to our subject for today. And I thank you so much, Pastor Hagen, for your wisdom, your knowledge, and your continued understanding, and what you bring to the people is definitely wonderful. I have spoken to you on many occasions, and I want people to understand, and they must know, that Pastor Ray Hagen respects this ministry. Now, I do not know whether or not how he views what is being said. We have not talked like that. He has never wanted to debate me about what I say. He never wanted to argue with me about what I say. He sees a black man that wants the same thing like he does. The resurrection of a people. Freedom, justice, and equality. Independence for the descendants of slaves born in America. We want the same thing. If you want to talk about ideological differences and philosophy, we can do that in a civil manner. Most of y'all can't do it without getting upset. But if you really want to take care of that type of business, get free. There's nothing more important than liberation. You can talk about ideological differences. You want to argue about the Quran and the Bible, who is right, Yahweh, Jehovah, and all this other philosophy. That's nice and well and good. But when you put those things, when you put religion and these philosophies and ideas over the liberation of all our people are lawyers, our people are strippers, our people are hoes and bitches and ratchets, thugs, our people are mayors, our people are homosexuals, our people. You want the liberation of our people. Our people come in many forms. Our people are atheists. Our people are agnostic. Our people are Muslims. Our people are Christians. Our people are Kemetic. Our people are Hebrew Israelites. If you stand up for black people and you talk and want to talk about black folks, then you must be willing to represent all of us in all our ways. Otherwise, you should sit down. You do not represent black conscience. You don't care nothing about black revolution. You have a questionable agenda, and you're looking out for yourself. If you are looking out for converts to your religion, then stop trying to hide. You're trying to convert somebody to Islam, hiding behind black liberation. That is not what you represent. If you represent the Quran, then do that. Don't use black liberation to get converts for your dirty religion. And I say dirty religion because it's a dirty thing when that is not your real intent. Your purpose is to convert people to a religion and not liberate a people. This ministry represents the liberation of a people. I could care less about your religious ideas, your spirituality, who you sleep with, and all that type of stuff. We are seeking freedom, justice, and equality for a people. And then we want to send those people and transform and rehabilitate those people back to a place where they originated from. Rehab us. And once we are rehabbed, once we are pulled up out of this insanity, then we can begin to make proper choices. But somebody for the last 400 or more years have caused us to go insane. And that is because we have not had a proper parent. We have not had a proper mother, and we have not had a proper father. We are a parentless people, and we have been raised by an adoptive people who have no love for us, who have caused us to be unnatural. So when you see brothers like Tommy Sotomayor, Painless Risen, David Carroll, and so many, when you see them talk the way they do, we should not really feel anger towards them. We should not feel hate towards them. It is a consequence and a result from living among a people who are not our parents, who have caused us to be unnatural, caused us to be a dark-skinned version of them. We are products, and we have been created by races. So it is the same when you speak about women. We don't like certain women. Well, first of all, men are arrogant because we live in a patriarchal society, and we are self-righteous, and it favors the men. So we want to judge, but when it's our time to be judged, we don't like it. So we distract from ourselves by pointing towards women. We want to blame women for everything. But now, the women that you see, just like the black people you see, they are not products of a mother. They are products of men. Not any kind of man, but they are products of corrupt, exploitive, abusive men. So if you don't like the ratchet, if you don't like the whores, if you don't like all these different things, then don't blame the women. They are products of those of whom have controlled them for thousands of years. Don't blame Tommy Sotomayor for what he is. Don't blame David Carroll, Fearless 2005, and all these other brothers and sisters that's out here that y'all say are cooning. Don't blame them. Blame them. Blame the creator. They did not create themselves. They are a result of a father, a parent that did not and do not love them and have made us unnatural. So the woman you see right now, she is unnatural. She is not of herself. The black man and woman, the descendants of slaves born in this country, we are not of ourselves. We are unnatural. We were created by races. The women that you see were created by corrupted men. Men who have a chip on their shoulder, who believe they are superior over another human being. And all this comes from out of what we just spoke of. The stealing of ideas. The infantile, incompetent mentality from being unable to really understand Quran and Bible and so much other wisdom that have been given to us. It says in your scriptures, it says in the Bible, my people suffer from the lack of knowledge. But how can they gain that knowledge without a teacher? And when we think about teachers, the first picture that we think about is a man. A teacher has no gender. A teacher can be male or female. But because we live in a corrupt society, an unnatural society, and we're going to talk about this, we automatically assume teacher is a male. Any teacher worth listening to or being taught by must be male. Are we living in a fatherless America? Fatherless. You have a father, then you have less. Less fathers. So what they are saying, fatherless America, that there is a need for more fathers, but we have less of them, and that is the reason why we are in the condition that we find ourselves in, because we have plenty of mothers. There is no complaint about a motherless America. The complaint is fatherless America. We need more fathers. Is this true? Is this the problem? A lack of fathers. What is a father? According to simple definitions that you may find in any dictionary, a father is a male parent. A father is one who shows paternal care. I want y'all to keep that on your mind. Paternal care. A father is the originator of something, the founder of something, like the founding fathers, George Washington, Patrick Henry, John Adams, and all of those guys. They are the founding fathers. They founded America. A father take responsibility. I want you to keep this on your mind. A father expresses paternal care. A father takes responsibility. Are you listening to me? So, if a father takes responsibility, then you explain to me. And I want to talk to the black woman, black male bashers, these males, these black males that bash black women. If a father, if a man, if his role is to take responsibility, then why do you have hundreds and thousands of videos blaming women for this and that? Why don't you take responsibility and take care of the business that you should? Or maybe it is because you don't have any power. Maybe it is because you really don't know what to do. Maybe it's because you're not a father. Maybe it's because you're not a man. How can you be a father if you first don't be a man? Because a father takes responsibility. But you can't be a father unless you first be a man first. Unless you develop manhood. And what is manhood? Because we are in an unnatural situation. Because we've been manipulated by outside ideologies and philosophy and thoughts. Then, for some of us, many of us, we have no idea of what our nature is being male. So we have to be taught. A man should not have to be taught what it is to be a man. A woman should not have to be taught to be a mother. Some of the things in life should come natural to you. You don't have to teach nobody about sex. If you put two virgins on an island, the next time you come back to that island, it'll have 100,000 people, because clearly somebody learn what sex was about. Because it's natural to us. You don't have to teach nobody to look for food. You don't have to teach nobody to breathe. These are things that is natural. But something has come among and within the human being. And we have been made unnatural. Because a father, a man, takes responsibility. But the men that we surround ourselves with and making movies about a fatherless America, and the movie, of course, will not be taking responsibility. It is to point and direct, target blame to somebody else besides the father, besides the man. We know this even before the movie is even made. Because these are not fathers, these are not men. And if you're not a man, then what are you? Then you are considered a child. You are considered a boy. And what did the racist Caucasian people call black men? And still call you? Call us? Boy. And many women, even though it may not even be their intent, you might be messing with a woman and playing around with her, and she said, "Oh, get away from me, boy." See? It's in the subconscious. It's there. The black man in this country has never been considered, viewed, and seen as a man. So what do you expect from our women, the mothers, when they don't see and live with a man? You might look like a man. You have the physical attributes of a man. You can get a baby, but you're not a man because in essence you are fatherless. But it is not being fatherless due to the reasons you talk about. How can you or I be a man? But we don't know what manhood is. We've lost the ability, the natural ability to understand what being a man is. And we are not in a position to understand what manhood is. What is manhood? Manhood is the criteria that a society determines what a man, what his role is in that society. So you go through manhood training, and who creates the criteria in the society of what a man is? Those who are in control of the society, those who are in control of the culture. And it just so happened, it is not women, it is men. It is the male. So within the society, it is other men that determine what manhood is. Then you have black men. You have the descendants of slaves born in America. A slave cannot determine what manhood is. That's why it is confusion among black folks in this nation of what manhood is, because a slave cannot determine what manhood is. You assume what manhood is by copying the only man that you ever known, and that's the man that gave you the Bible, gave you Quran, that made you a slave, and the Bible and the Quran justify and participated the understanding of the people that use these books made black folks slaves. So you can only mimic your slave master. And your slave master, the racist Caucasian man, He is an abuser of women. He hates women. He views himself as the superior over everybody, including the Caucasian woman. She has had to fight for her rights for years and years and years. She has never been his equal. And still to this day, the Caucasian woman is not an equal to the racist pink man. And you turn right around and you copy because that's the only father, that's the only parent that you know is the racist Caucasian man. And then you use as a criteria coming from the Holy Quran and the Bible that he controlled, in fact, he created. Oh, wow. And you wonder why you and I, as a people, we're in such horrid condition because we're copying the very people that messed us up. So the criteria for manhood, and even if you went back to Africa or any of these dark-skinned cultures, you will find that it is the male in control. We have no idea and do not know what it is to live in a society or a culture or a civilization controlled and dominated by females. We have no idea what that is. The world that we know of is controlled by the father, the male parent. A patriarchal society, patriarchal civilization. And these males, not only now, but also in ancient times, they have not shown paternal care. They have not taken responsibility. They blame other men, and eventually they will blame women and children because they were given power, and then because they are childlike in their mentality, they became overloaded, and as long as they believed they were handling the power, it was all good. But just like history shows, it eventually failed. The fall of Rome, the fall of Egypt, the fall of Timbuktu, the fall of all these great civilizations, and I'm very sure there are many civilizations we never heard of and don't know nothing about. I can guarantee you they were controlled and dominated by men. We have no idea of what it means to live under the control of mother. We have no idea of what it means to live under the dress of a matriarchy. We've only known living under the control and domination of men who are incompetent parents, who show no paternal care. The founding fathers of violence, destruction, materialism, evil, rape, murder, deceit, and deception. And don't take no responsibility for nothing they have done to destroy humanity. And then on Sunday, they get up and pretend to be good and talk about it, but for hundreds of years have never been about it. That's why we are in the condition that we are in right now. Because you are, and we are living in a fatherless America. Who were the fathers of America? The fathers of America took the fathers of somebody else and made slaves out of them. And still to this day do not want to take responsibility for what they've done. So again, I ask of us, don't be angry at Tommy Sotomayor. Don't be angry at Fearless 2005 and David Carroll and Painless Risen. And they are nothing but the products of having no father. So when Tommy Sotomayor makes a movie talking about a fatherless America, it is a much needed movie, but the concept is way off base, because you have a father, but he is a corrupt father. You have a father, but he is not your father. And your image of a father is copying the person or the father that put you in the condition that you in. Because these fathers are not righteous. But here you are trying to be righteous, but yet and still you were born in a country that was not born of righteous behavior. You were born in a country that enslaved people, that murdered people by the millions. Drunks, pedophiles, rapists, murderers. You should want. It is better to have a fatherless America rather than fathers like these founding fathers. And they knew from the beginning. They said or wrote in their writings that the slave would be a problem in the future. But this father didn't even give a damn about the Caucasian people that would be living in 2013 that must deal with what the problem that they started. But then these men don't take responsibility, and they don't show paternal care to these who were forced on them as children. We did not ask to be here, but we are here. But a real father would take responsibility instead of running. So I'm going to blame the adopted children for being here. I'm going to blame black folks for their own problems. But we know that corrupt fathers created it. But a man takes responsibility. These are not men. These are not fathers. These are rapists, murderers, pedophiles, warmongers. That's the behavior that you still see to this day. They have no paternal care, because you even have fathers. This may not be my biological child. This might be my adopted child. This might be some strange child on the street. But no father wants to see a baby crying and starving. No man, regardless if that's your child or not, you're going to watch dogs attack a child and not respond to protecting and defending that baby. What is father? What is father? A fatherless America. A father expresses paternal care and takes responsibility. A father, a man, don't blame women. Now, I haven't touched my Quran in who knows how long, but there was a thought that I wanted to speak on when I decided to make this particular video. And it comes from the Quran, from a chapter, the 16th chapter, called The Bee. And I decided to go get my Quran. This is my Quran. And don't you know, after all this time, I have not touched the Quran. this Quran. But I had a piece of paper in the book. And when I opened up the book, there it was already on the 16th chapter called the bee. Ain't that something? I guess it's just something about that chapter that I like, because that's where I left off at, reading the bee. We can read what the Quran has to say about the bee. But the thing about this Quran is that it always tries to connect what the prophet is saying and use nature as an example. That's what's wonderful about this book called Quran. There is wisdom in this book. There is wisdom in the Bible. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in the prophets in order to recognize truth, in order to recognize that which is beneficial to you. If the Quran said that vitamin A is good for me, am I going to reject vitamin A, vitamin C just because it's in the Quran? No. We need to understand that you have something called spiritual food. When we look at the Quran and the Bible, we consider the Quran and the Bible as food. The wisdom in Quran and Bible is just like an apple is to your stomach, like physical food. But there is no physical food. There is no food that you can eat and there will not be waste material. An apple a day will keep the doctor away. However, sooner or later, you're going to go to the toilet. No matter how good you eat, no matter how pure your vegetable is, sooner or later, you're going to go to the toilet. So, if the Bible and Quran is spiritual food for your mind, then there must be a time that you must go to the spiritual toilet. And you must release the fecal matter. But you don't, now you want to call this spiritual food, but you don't want to look at it in that way. There's something in here that is good for you. Then there's something that is waste material. You must sit on the toilet and take yourself a dump. Those who believe in God, you don't like that concept. You like the concept of spiritual food, but you don't like the concept of taking a spiritual dump. Urinate spiritually. Have a bowel movement spiritually. You don't like that because you think that God is perfect. But all in life, everything that lives creates waste. So why would this be different if you're using that as an example, if this is spiritual food? There is no food that you can consume that has no waste. But let us go back to what we were speaking about in the Quran. The 16th chapter called the bee. What is a bee? Well, did you know that the majority of bees are female? There are 3 types of bees in a hive. You have the queen bee, which is the female. She's the matriarch. She is the focus of the hive. Then you have the worker bee. What is the worker bee? The worker bee is female. The only difference between the worker bee and the queen bee is that the worker bees cannot lay eggs. Then you have the drone. The drone is the male. And the only purpose of the drone, and he has a very short lifespan. Oh, wow. Woo, the Quran. Oh, man. The male has a short lifespan. Could that be the reason why the fall of Rome? Could that be the reason why the fall of Egypt? Is that the reason why the fall of everything that is male dominated? It goes up, then it goes down. It has glory, then it has destruction, extinction. Because the male has a short lifespan. Wow. Just something to think about. The male is not a female. His only purpose is to provide sperm in order to fertilize the egg. And some of you, and it is true, that without a male, females could not reproduce. Now, if we understand biology, there are creatures, and the first life forms were able to reproduce themselves without being male or female. There are creatures on this planet that are male and female. They can pregnate themselves. The problem in evolution is that when you can impregnate yourself, you cannot go outside yourself. You can't become better. You cannot change. The only thing you can do is clone yourself. So in evolution, I don't know how this exactly came about, but in evolution, when there was a split, where there was male and female, because the sperm became separate from the original organism, when they come together, they were able to produce something different. Now, I can't exactly explain to you how this functions, but in biology, you see when the male and female became separated, the animals were better able to adapt to their environment and begin to evolve into different forms of the same animal or the same species. But as long as the sperm, as long as the creature was reproducing within itself, it could not change. Also, in biology, this is the reason why you have life and death. If you look at animals or creatures that since the dinosaur age or the age of the reptile, many of these creatures, they live a long time because they have not changed. They have not evolved. So if something happens and they cannot change, they will become extinct. However, when you have animals that live and die, and you can do this as an experiment in your house, put some roaches in your house. Roaches reproduce real quick. And some of y'all already know this. But if the same spray that might kill the mother and father may not have an effect on the baby roaches, because they are not the same. Since the babies were separated, their very DNA, there's a change from the original parents. What killed the parents will not kill the future offspring. So you have to come up with something different all the time to kill roaches, because they come up with an immunity. Because they are able to actually change the makeup of the structure of their DNA. So, bees have been doing this for millions of years. And the female is the matriarch of most insect societies. The female. In fact, when you look at nature, itself, it is the female that is the focus. This has been going on for millions of years. When you see baby animals, who do they follow? You always see baby ducks following the mama duck. Baby monkeys always with their mother. Cubs was always with the mama bear. Raccoons with the mama raccoon. Dogs, you will see the dogs with their female, with the bitches. And that's what y'all love to call women bitches. Out of jealousy. See the man or the male, see, that's what you want. You want everybody to follow you. But you ain't nothing but a drone. And you don't like the fact that you just somebody to be used. You think you don't like your position in the hive. Use me for sex, then kick me out of the hive. I have a short lifespan. I guess somewhere at some time, some men looked at the whole situation and it pissed them off. And so they decided to take the place of mother. So in essence, what Tommy Sotomayor really want to do is, when he talks about a fatherless America, he wants to really, what he's really saying, he wants a man in the position of mother. And your problem is a motherless America. Not a fatherless America. You have somebody in a position that they didn't like. It is not your role. So you're trying to be something that you're not. And the man or the male, this father, has corrupted the earth. And if this is the father that you're looking for, that's trying to play the role of mother, then the only thing you're doing is making your situation worse. And the reason why you are making it worse is because you lack paternal care and refuse to take responsibility. And you really don't know your role as a man. You've had no manhood training. You have no society. You only copy another man that is trying to be father and mother. And in nature, trying to be father and mother, the result is extinction. An unnatural situation. A clone, and a clone cannot be a proper parent. A clone cannot change. Listen. Oh, man. This is taking a little longer than I thought, but please bear with me. Unlike religion, I'm not trying to convert you to nothing. What I want to present to us is something to cause us to think. In this society, in religion, they do your thinking for you. And it has made you spiritually lazy. So, if I say something and you can't get the answer from those of whom you listen to, you don't know what to do because you can't think for yourself. So you're going to tell me, go listen to this DVD. Go read this book. I don't need to go anywhere. I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to a book. I'm not talking to a DVD. I'm talking to you. All right. A fatherless America. Let's try to bring this to conclusion. I still got a little ways to go, but could y'all please bear with me? I hope that I brought some things up so that we can think about. So what you see or what you want is unnatural. The Quran always tries to seek reference to nature. Father, as head of household, father being the focus of our life, is unnatural. The human being is a mammal. And when you study mammals that live in a family type situation, a family type structure, it is never the male. It is always the females that the focus and are the leaders. It is a matriarchal controlled family. And the male elephant has no problem with that. Because the male elephant knows his role, knows where he belongs in the family. The male lion has no problem with the female lion leading the family, or the male hyena. But these male human beings, you have a problem with the female being the focus. Jealousy, envy. We as men have been made unnatural. We don't understand our place no more because we have been taught by an unnatural, and we copy an unnatural people. It says in your scriptures, honor thy mother and father. What did the racist Caucasian Europeans do? They are children on the planet. They decided to rape and rob and enslave the fathers and the mothers of this planet, seeking material gain. And still to this day, they have no respect for the black people, the original people of this planet. The fathers that their scriptures teach them, honor thy father and thy mother. And refuse to take responsibility that you stole from them. And that you lack paternal care. Because if you had paternal care, how could you poison the water, poison the land, destroy the trees, kill all the people that you've done, constant wars. How could you do the things that you do and call women hoes and bitches? How could you do what you have done? And this has happened even prior to the Europeans. The black man, the African, or whatever you want to call it, the original male have taken the black woman out of her position, her role in community and family, because he's jealous and envious and want the glory, what he views as glory. He wants a connection that he does not have, and you will never get it. You can pretend, and you can make up all these old sad religions, but you can't be what you're not. So, in order to steal the woman's role in the family, the male uses religion. Quran and Bible. But when we see or look at Christian teachings, it's the Father, it's the Son, it's the Holy Ghost. But we all come from mother. We all come from the womb. But they tell us to worship the Father that cannot produce life, cannot develop life. The Son, without a womb, without a woman, there would be no father, there would be no son. And this Holy Ghost has no gender at all. But mama is totally left out. When you look at nature, again, most mammals, the focus of family is mama. When you look at birds, you see that the female bird gets a lot of help from the male, but the male does not raise, the male does not teach the offspring nothing. Whatever teaching needs to be taught generally comes from the female. Males don't teach anything. And because we have been made unnatural, we have no inclination, we have no idea of what our gender, what we're supposed to be. You should not have to be taught. You should not have to be taught what it is to be a man. Only what is expected of you in your society and what the criteria of manhood is in your society. But to be a man, you should not have to be taught. You should not have to be taught to be a woman. A woman should have an idea of what womanhood is. But the criteria of womanhood, again, is determined by the society that she is born in. What is expected of woman. And the problem with these things in society and civilization is that the man or the male is in control. And he places himself in a superior position, a position of favor. There is no equality. There is only supremacy. So are you shocked? Are you shocked that we live in a fatherless America? And so what Tommy Sotomayor does, and the only thing these black men know how to do when they talk about father, is copy the slave master. They have no idea, no concept of manhood except what is presented, what they learned through religious teachings, and the only example that they know of the racist Caucasian man. And is he an example? No, he is not. He is corrupt. He is a murderer. He is a rapist. He is a woman hater. A vicious woman hater. He wants to be what women are. That's why some of them put on dresses, lipstick, gender surgery, because they want to be women. And since these women are under the control of these silly, corrupt, unnatural men, then they turn around and copy them. Just like black folks. We copy everything Caucasian people do. They want to live with dogs, we want a dog. They get drunk, we get drunk. The white man, the Caucasian man, call his women hoes and bitches, and that's what we do. We turn around and do the same thing, because that's our daddy. He's our daddy. He's our example of manhood. No respect to mother. This father that you copy, he's a drunk. He's a pedophile. He's a homosexual. He's crazy. He's violent. Very violent. No respect for women. There is no man. There is no father that's going to call the mother of his children, the mother of his babies, a whore and a bitch. And deny the woman her rights as a human being. Because if you are a father, you have paternal care. As a father, you take responsibility and you understand the better you treat your woman, the better your children will be. Because like you said, the mother is your first teacher. So if you mistreat and corrupt the woman, why are you shocked that your offspring is messed up? And if you treat somebody, oh wow, if you treat somebody bad, why do you expect them to love you? You expect people to love you, and you call them a hoe and a bitch and a nigger and a coon and a shine, and you enslave them. You discriminate against them. Put them in jail for no reason. You do all these evils, and you expect somebody to love you. You are crazy as a... Oh, man. These people are insane. A father, take responsibility. But even according to religious teachings, listen. But even according to religious teachings, you had Adam and Eve. And God, in these biblical teachings, these scriptures, told both of them and gave both of them instructions. And Eve bit the fruit. They were told not to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge. And then Eve went to Adam. And Adam ate from the tree of knowledge. But they both were told the same thing. But Adam decided not to take responsibility. Let's blame Eve. Now the sad thing about all of this is Adam was older than Eve, knew better. If anybody knew better, it was Adam. Then you had Eve. Now the thing about Eve is that Eve was made from Adam's rib. Now I don't know how you can do that. Maybe it's some type of scientific thing, but this whole woman came from Adam. Now I don't know how, since she came from Adam, how she ended up with a womb and a vagina and came from Adam. Adam don't have a womb and a vagina. I can't explain that. Because how you gonna get something new out of something that did not have, you know what I'm saying? Adam did not have a vagina and whatever, and a womb. But Eve came from his rib, and she had a vagina and a womb and all this. She got something that Adam did not have, but she came from Adam. How is that? You know, how? That's not our subject. There are double standards. There's favoritism. If anybody should take the heat, it should be Adam, because Adam should have known better. How could Adam allow Eve to talk him into eating the apple? In fact, Adam should have been putting Eve in check. It's just like you and I, we are supposed to be adults. And we're going to allow our children to tell us what to do when we know better. They came from us. Eve came from Adam. But see, we live in a male-dominated society, so there's favoritism. There are always going to be excuses made up when males mess up. A fatherless America. These kind of fathers you should not even want. You should not want to be, or you should not want a father that has taken the place of mother. That's what you have here. There is double standards living in a male society. A woman, a female, supposed to keep herself clean and righteous. So when the man is done with his whoremongering, when he's done doing wrong, the real whore, the real bitch, then he's supposed to find him a virgin and live happily ever after. But if a woman does the same thing, she's a whore and a bitch and everything that you can say in life. Double standards. Favoritism toward the male. Because you are not a father. These men, including somebody like Tommy Sotomayor and Painless Risk, these are men, David Carroll, these are men who fail to take responsibility. Children. They have no paternal care, because if you have paternal care, there is no father. There is no man that's going to go around calling a woman bitches and whores and ratchets and all these evil, nasty names y'all come up with. Because a father, a real man, understands that it was a man. It was a man that made the woman like that. But see, y'all don't want to challenge another man. So when men like myself step up, you will argue, you will debate women. But when men step up to you, y'all run. You get quiet and silent. Am I a man? Am I a father? I accept responsibility. And I show paternal care for the descendants of slaves born in America and willing to die and fight for a people that have no father. So we are in a learning process to understand our role in who and what we are as men. But unlike you, I understand my nature. I have not lost my nature. I don't need a book to tell me what a man is. I don't need a book to tell me nothing, because I understand what has happened. That these pitiful, pathetic, corrupt men have changed places with my mama, with mother. Who are these men? Y'all a bunch of drunks, dope fiends, whoremongers. You're nasty, vile and vulgar, violent and profane, self-righteous. Self-righteous, because you are not righteous. Period. Judge other people. Judge victims. Because you ain't going to mess with the people that caused the problem to begin with. You judge victims. But then when it's your time to be judged, you want to cry and whine. Why they call me Uncle Tom? Why they call me a coon? Why they call me Sambo? You attack people and you call people out of their names. Victims. Everybody has the right to defend themselves. So when they defend themselves, or somebody decides, I'm going to defend the defenseless, I'm going to be a father, I'm going to show paternal care and defend these victims, these children, I'm going to take responsibility, I'm going to be the originator of justice, the founding father based on freedom, justice, and equality. Then you get all upset. These men want to be mother. They want the glory, the admiration and the love they think that women are getting. They want to have a womb. So you see in men, they want to be women so bad, now you see homosexual behavior. And they try to pretend to be like women. Wear makeup, dresses, and high heel shoes, and they want to be women. It's always been there. It's the mentality. You are a destroyed man because you don't know your role. The male in the beehive has no problem with his role. Short lifespan. But the male bee comes to the hive, does what he has to do, and they kick him out of the hive. So, in conclusion, what we have here, you have some male bees that need to be kicked out of the hive. They don't deserve to be in the family. They are not like the male elephant. They are not like the male lion. These need to be kicked out of the hive. Unnatural people. Unnatural thinking process. These are corrupt men. Corrupt father. So I'm happy that there is a fatherless America, because the only father we know is corrupt. This father is not fair. This father lacks paternal care. This father avoids responsibility. This father is the originator of evil. And in your Bible and Quran, who is the originator? Who is the father of evil? Called Satan. What good do you see coming from these people? no good. Always talking about somebody. Gossip spreaders, rumor spreaders, nasty, hate-filled, violent. That's what you see. Is that the kind of father that you want? Blame women for everything. When these corrupt men, not saying these men, because they are actually victims, they don't know no better. Especially the black men, none but slaves. But I'm telling you what has happened over thousands of years. And it's the same thing like racism. Whatever you see in racism, that is what has happened to women under male domination, under patriarchy. The same thing. So now you have women. You have been traumatized so much, you call yourself bitch and hoe. Girl, I'm a bad bitch. We bad bitches. And now you have black people proud to call themselves nigger. It's the same thing. Black men understand racism, but they have no problem participating in the oppression of women. Gender bias. They have no problem with that because they like the fact that men are put on top. So why are you shocked about the response coming from Caucasian people when they enjoy what racism, what Caucasian pink supremacy does? It puts them in a supreme favorite position. This is why there is no change. After 50 years since the March on Washington, we still got a long way to go. You got a long way to go because Caucasian people enjoy being on top. They enjoy being favored. They don't want no equality. These men don't want equality. They like being on top. Leader of the household, controlling women and children. They like that. Glory hounds. Corrupt glory hounds. There's nothing wrong with men being leaders. There's nothing wrong with Caucasian supremacy. The problem is you are corrupt. The problem is you are not fair. The problem is, according to Quran and Bible, you are Satan. You are evil. That's the problem. Skin color has never hurt nobody. Just having a penis does not hurt nobody. But there's a mentality behind the penis. There's a mentality behind the skin color that has caused great harm to human beings on this planet that should be living. And because the human being is so corrupt, your evil, and what makes you called a devil is that your evil not only harms human beings, but it has brought great harm to the fish, to the bird, to the bee, to the cow, to trees, to the earth itself. Something has got to give. The problem is not just a fatherless America. The problem is a human being that has no real father. Not only in America, but around the earth. Because you have corrupt men who control this planet. And as long as men have controlled this planet according to history, violence, rape, murder, wars destruction, pedophilia, homosexuality, all this, and you don't want to admit it and take responsibility, and none of this would even exist if these men shown any kind of paternal care. So yes, there is a need for father, but not the type of father you seeking, because that type of father is the reason why we are in the condition that we are in. With that said, thank you for listening. Jot down your comments. I hope that I gave us a lot to talk about. And let us just think for ourselves. Let us go beyond what we have been taught. There is no need for me to try to convert you or force you to think or do anything. But I do know, once you begin to think for yourself, we will all get on the same page. I already know that. But somebody is controlling how you think. And those people are only going to guide you to only one conclusion. There is only one consequence, only one result. And we already know this. The fall of Rome, the fall of Genghis Khan, everything these corrupt males touch, it falls. It rises up and it dies. Only in the womb is there continued life. You help that woman produce life and be proud of that role. There's nothing shameful in that. There is no life in men. Men can't produce life. And you try to control life, and look at what men have done to this planet. Men, the male, have done this. Under patriarchal civilization and societies. Death and destruction. Trying to be a woman. Trying to produce life. And that's what they're trying to do in the sciences right now. Produce life. Men are trying to make their own womb. Yes. They're trying to produce life without a woman. So woman, if this male, if he ever is successful in creating life and he does not need your womb no more, what you think this man is going to do with womanhood? He already like young boys. He's already a homosexual. He's already turned on himself. What you think these men going to do with women in the future? In many places, they keep male babies and they kill female babies right now because female babies don't have that much value as a man. Do you understand what you're facing, women? That's what I'm telling the woman. You got an unnatural man running around here. His ultimate goal is to destroy the womb. Because he wants that connection that you naturally have. He's a fake woman with his makeup and weave and high heel shoes and his surgery to turn his penis into a vagina and all this other madness. This man is gone insane. And these black men, they are following behind an unnatural creature. And this creature that is trying to be like God, as y'all say, is called Satan, the devil. It's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. Because if you show paternal care, then not only must you look out for yourself, what type of future woman will your babies have to continue to be guided and directed by these sick people? Do you understand? With that said, thank you for listening. Jot down your comments. Let's talk about it. This is your brother, the Angel Snubbing Up 7. This was and is the Reality's Temple on Earth.
My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody moving me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at Reality's Temple. Reality's Temple. My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody moving me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at Reality's Temple.